Colin Brennan here from Brrraaains A Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial for short, and we're doing a reaction video to Nightfall, Seeking Revenge. Yes, the iconic Nightfall. Well, iconic if you know them. It's one of those weird bands where if you know them, you know they're iconic. Otherwise, you're like, who? And that's kind of the point because they're not really around a lot of the time. They are pioneering black and death metal band, been around a very long time within that Greek death metal scene, alongside the likes of Rotting Christ and Septic Flesh and so on. And they've well, this track comes from their 11th album overall. So it's not like we're getting one or two here as well. It was Children of Eve, released May 2nd, 2025 via Season of Mist. You reviewed this on the site, and were very positive about it. Why were you so positive, aside from the obvious?
Yeah, I mean, it is the obvious, isn't it? When I listen to it, I
Yeah,
thought it's fucking great.
there you go.
That's it. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. Like it's, I like the album. Firstly, I think it's a really, really good album, right? Like that's it.
Mhm.
Like not talking just like it has very, very good songs in it. But I thought it was a really good album, like end to end. I thought it flowed well. I thought they told their stories well. I loved his voice. I liked what the band were doing. I liked the. I suppose do I like the sort of I like the story about like the band as well, like because when you're reviewing things you're doing research and I'm like, okay, like how you do the first bit of it and it says like this band formed in like 1991 and this is their 11th
Yeah.
album, and the first thing you think right away is going what, and I'm like, how do I not know this band? And then it
Yeah,
goes
yeah.
into they're part of the pioneering Greek death metal scene with them, Septic Flesh and Rotting Christ, and you're like, okay, no two of them. Again, like so you kind of like, the more I sort of dug into it, the more I kind of got into it, more I researched it, the more I liked the story of it. And there's a lot of stuff that I'm into, kind of, and we all are anyway, into stories about hiatuses recently, why he wears a mask on half of his face, which is to do with the reason why the band needed to take time, which was suffering from bouts of depression. The band's come back from that, which is this album. They're very staunch and firm all the way through their career on being quite extremely anti-religion, I think. Or so not a specific religion or anything like just religion,
Just
which is good.
anti-religion in
You
general.
know,
Yep.
but also then the way that they kind of reacted to their traumas and came back, and they've set up a charity which I believe is called MHAD, Metal Heads Against Depression,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
they've now synchronized that with other European charities that are doing similar things to try and get like metalheads to talk and be more open about this sort of thing. And those sorts of stories do grab me as well. I'm not gonna lie. Musically, I
Hmm.
listened to the album, I review the album based upon the music, and I loved it. Then it gets enhanced by the fact that I find that I then like the stories and I like that about the band, and it kind of grows the whole image of it all in my head, I suppose.
I think that's completely fair. Like, I do remember now you talking to me about the charity side of things. I think we were probably drinking. It's why it got probably Incineration Fest. Actually, I think that's
Mm.
where you brought it up with me. So I remember that part of it as well. But yeah, like, I mean, I like that as well. It's always nice to have it's always nice to have music, particularly in our scene as well, our band, whatever. Not just talking about stuff like this, but being more open about it. But to get it from a band that's been around since 1991. Now, see, it tends to lean now more towards the modern side of metal, that you find people being more open and talking about mental health and stuff like that. It tends to come from the more metalcore scene and that more
Yeah,
modern stuff. So to find a band
yeah,
dating all the way back to 1991 doing this,
yeah,
that's
yeah. A
rare,
band that
you
come
know?
from like the heavier edge of it, a band that are anti-religion, all that sort of stuff, but are
Yeah,
also then turning around and saying like, hold my hands up here, guys. I had to take some time off because of depression. I struggled. Maybe I'm still struggling, but I'm ready
they
to
come
come
from a
back.
time when this shit was taboo.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So I like all of that. It does enhance it. It doesn't mean it doesn't affect the scoring I would give an
Of
album.
course.
So but like it enhances the feeling towards the band, I suppose.
Listen, there's pop music out there that has great messages, but that
Mm.
pop song sucks. Do you see what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it is that.
Yeah.
So yeah. It's not a long track. It's 3 minutes and 48 seconds. Seeking Revenge by Nightfall. Let's do this in three, two, one, go. Should say it's an official lyric video and a pretty sucky looking one as well at that. But hey, what are you gonna do? Power, it's called power metal. To the point, again, I love a
Yep.
track when it's so straightforward like that. Listen, I was Googling at the same time because I was thinking like call it the theme of these little section of videos that we're doing here. Um, that's again, I'm like, that would be Killer Live. Like that's the kind of a song that comes
Yeah.
live, and it'd be interesting to see what they would do, right, with that first minute, because the first minute of that track is really, really odd, in not a bad way, but it's definitely starts off more like a power metal track, but does like seemingly like competition to see how each octet, how much higher each it can get each time with the vocals and stuff like that. It doesn't scream black and death metal, but then the whole track doesn't. You remove those vocals, and that is a very very lighter track than you think it is. All right, it's got some meaty drums, but it's the vocals that are giving that a heavier edge more than anything else. But even then, it's catchy all the way through. It has a chorus. It's a little bit different to what you just expect when you see the words black and death metal. That's normally a vibe. This is not quite that, but that experimentation is fun. That's a fun track, and the fact that you can move to it, you can groove to that while headbanging and pitting if you want to some degree, is no bad thing. It's the variety. I really, really like all of that. I do because I like power metal as well, and I like how the sort of melodic side of this kind of music. But I recognize if you're fan of this kind of like heavier black and death metal, that's going to be slightly off-putting to you, aside from the vocals, because it does have, particularly that first minute is that the fact it was a minute, it was 1 minute and 1 second when it properly kicked in to being like a heavier kind of like, so that's a fairly long intro as well. I think that will put so many people off. But once you get into it, it's immediately catchy and it's actually weirdly accessible for this kind of music to some degree. But it's the kind of thing that song that comes out when it gets played live, even if it's the start of a set or the end of the set, and everybody starts to move. The lights go down, there's flashing, and everybody's having a bit of fun to it. Need to as well because the video so right. You have that incredible album cover. That is an incredible album cover. Just put that up with the lyrics over it. Remove the shitty cassette tape because it well looks cheap and it was well jarring. But there you go. That's my only complaint. That as a lyric video sucks.
Yeah, to be fair, that's probably season of Mist more than the band, but
Mm. Oh yeah, whoever's to blame. But there you go.
yeah, I mean,
I
I don't
really
know. I
like
don't
it.
know. I think there are things like around this sort of stuff, right? So keep in mind, like what we were saying at the beginning about this sort of like we're going back years now, obviously, but I think the people that will be pissed off by the sound of Nightfall will be the same people that are pissed off by the modern sound of Rotten Christ.
Right. Yeah. 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 I mean,
I mean, that's what we're talking about.
yeah.
We talked about the three sort of pioneering bands of Greek kind of what would have at some point been death metal, black and death metal, whatever it would have been, Rotten Christ, Septic Flesh, and Nightfall. And you could very, very comfortably argue that all three of those bands are more accessible later in years, like you know what I mean, 11 albums in or whatever than they were at a
Yeah.
point in time. So maybe
Yeah,
that's a
when you put
Greek
it like
thing,
that, you're
man.
100% right. You're when you put it like that, I completely get you mean. All those bands, and particularly that scene, has evolved to a certain degree. But I'd still put this just off this one track, this on the
Yeah,
lighter side of that.
yeah, and that's what we're doing. We're reacting to the one single track, you know. So
Yeah,
there are things I could obviously say. I could say like this is actually quite standout on the album for being quite different, or that bit with the beginning of it has is more impactful when you listen to the album end to end because of the flow of it and where that
of
kind of comes
course.
in than it is necessary. So, but that's not what we're kind of like. We have to
Yeah,
react to song.
it's a
I find
common
it to
issue we
be
run into. Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you know, like you review an album, you give it 10 out of 10, you pick a song or any one of two or five or 10 or whatever you like on that album, you play one of them. I can't help hearing the whole album and remembering when that point happened and everything like that in the album. Whereas for you, you're hearing that one moment in time, you know.
oh yeah.
But it doesn't like if they didn't say anything negative about it, and
Oh God, no.
I agree with you. Like on a lot of you said, I like it because it is more accessible. I like it because it has got a beat. It's catchy. I
Yeah.
think when I wrote in the review about it, I was like, oh, because I guess it shows how much this is maybe a little bit stand out on the album, but how this was almost like their. I think I referred to it as their orbit culture moment. You know, like across the album, like I was like,
Right.
oh shit, Nightfall having
Yeah.
an orbit culture moment, just because of that kind of like that the beat really more than
Yeah, and
anything
it's
else, you know.
so easy to enjoy that
Yeah.
anybody who starts yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, that's good. That's a good comparison.
You know, I'm not gonna attempt in any way whatsoever to defend the official lyric video because I actually think some of the lyrics are wrong in it as well. But anyway, That's just me. Like there's a point in
Was
there where he says
there?
about this. I think there is. I think there's a point where the lyrics say tears in your eyes and it's meant to be fire in your eyes. Now I think there are points in the song where it says both of them, but I think on one of them it's run the wrong way. But that could just be me mishearing. I also think
Oh, you're right. I see it. Yeah, there's like two blocks. I am the fire in your eyes, and then later, I love the tears in your eyes. So you think it over. Oh, okay, all right,
I think there's
interesting.
one where he says fire, but the lyric says tears. And then the rest of
Right.
the time it's right to be the right way round. But I also think, but maybe that's the way the band kind of are pronouncing it. I don't know. But where it does that sort of stretched out they put it up on the screen as AYE, which is more like a
Yeah.
sort of Scottish pirate I,
I,
rather
as
than
in like
I, as in the
I.
letter I. Do you know what I mean? But like they're all minor. Like don't get me wrong. So that I thought like okay, fair enough. Maybe in hindsight, because there are like two or three official video singles, and then this was like a later down the line one. But it's just because I
Right.
like this song so much that I wanted to play it again. So
But this is the I mean this sometimes it's the best choice because it is if it is an accessible track. So if you want people to kind of like get involved in them, you kind of give them some accessible like you've actually got a horrible habit sometimes of being like, hey, I listen to this album. I've chosen the one track that's 29 minutes
yeah, I
long.
could have done that for you, couldn't
You know what I mean? Like, and
I?
like, that's the one we're going to sit here and yeah, I know I have to somehow frame my thoughts and not act bored, you know?
Yeah, and then when we talk about it afterwards, I go, oh, I could have played one of the 3 minute ones, I suppose.
Yeah, that's right. This is a good choice. But you know what? Talking about lyrics, I actually learned something through the lyrics of this. So this is really, really cool. So he early on, he said it went Final Frontiers, no, the end is bright like the sun, dreadful fanatics, suffice your mind with fear, hamartia, hamartia twice.
Mm, yeah.
Hamartia, I thought that's a weird word. That must be Greek for something. So I Googled it, and it's actually not Greek. It's an actual word that means a fatal flaw leading to the downfall of a tragic hero or heroine. So there you go, hamartia. It refers only to a tragic but random accident or mistake, basically for a character. So yeah, there you
There
go.
you go.
Learn something new. I won't remember
Edu
it, but there you go.
Educational. It might come up in a pub
Yeah,
quiz.
why not? But there you go. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, and certainly a good sign of like where they're at, I guess, particularly
Yeah.
in regards to what they're doing these days. Seeking Revenge by Nightfall. You got any thoughts on this one to share with us? You know what to do. Let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. It does help us out. You can find us at gbhbl.com and across all social media platforms. And if you really want to give us a bit of extra support, please consider buying us a cup of coffee over on our coffee page. Thank you.